Malcolm Gladwell's best-selling books, The Tipping Point and Blink, explored how certain things become ingrained in our culture and how we make decisions. In his latest book, Outliers, Gladwell tackles the secrets behind those individuals whose success is beyond the norm. And it's good to have you in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
An outlier, if you do some sort of scientific experiment, there's this thing out there that is sort of this aberration that is way off the charts, and that's an outlier, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so let's talk about some outliers. One of the examples of success you use in the book are the Beatles.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell the story of the Beatles and why they defy the norms and why they were as successful as they were.
Well, I was really taken by what happened to them before they came to America. You know, they come here in '64, and it's the Beatles invasion. Explode. But before they came, they were the house band in a strip club in Hamburg, Germany.
Right.
And they would play 8-hour sets 7 days a week for months at a stretch.
Sure.
And the idea there is that it was that we think of them as these geniuses who just come out of nowhere and who are naturally brilliant, but in fact they put in an apprenticeship of thousands of hours.
These overnight successes aren't overnight successes at all.
Yeah, that's one of the big themes of the book, actually, is that we sometimes look at people and we think that they must have this great innate talent, and we forget the enormous amount of work that went into to what looks like genius.
Yeah, I think about Tiger Woods, and yes, his father was his mentor and spent all of this time, but even now, he practices untold dozens and dozens and dozens of hours a week.
Yeah, there's a principle I talk about in the book called the 10,000-hour rule, which says that in a wide variety of disciplines, from being a good doctor to being a great golfer, it doesn't matter really what it is, it looks like we need to spend 10,000 hours practicing before we get good.
Right.
So there's never been a great piece of classical music composed by someone who hadn't spent 10,000 hours first.
Because you write about Mozart, and everybody talks about Mozart composing as a little kid, but he didn't really compose anything anybody cared about until he was what?
23, at which point he'd been composing for over 10 years. Yeah. No.
So it really, really does make sense.
Yeah.
In all of your books, Tipping Point, Blink, to this, is there a thread? Is there a line that is drawable? There
is kind of. I'm very interested in how we are influenced by our context, our environment, our surroundings, our family, our history. I'm not interested. I think we spend too much time obsessed with the individual and not enough time talking about all of the people around the individual. And my books are always devoted to the worlds and the communities in which we operate.
Yeah. A great read, just like the other ones, and it's such a pleasure to have you here in the studio. Really
Thank you so much.
Thank you.